Hey everybody, welcome back to Parenting on the Ranch. Today we're looking at this Orbit traveling sprinkler, so stick around.
We are a family of 5 living on a ranch in Texas.
On our channel, we will cover a variety of topics. These are solely based on our experience and opinions, and we do not hold any degrees in childhood development or education.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Parenting on the Ranch. My name is Curtis, and my beautiful wife Jessica is behind the camera, and today we're taking a look at this Orbit traveling sprinkler that my wife bought me for my birthday / Father's Day this year. Now, we used to have one of these several years ago and really liked it, and our current yard is big enough where it takes several hours in order to water the whole thing, and it takes several moves as well. And we have 2 of the little twirly sprinklers that do like 30 feet. So this one should be able to do the entire thing in one swoop. So we're gonna open up this box and take a look at what we got inside. But before we do that, just some quick facts about the sprinkler itself. It is made of cast iron, and it is pretty heavy, the box itself. It probably weighs, I'd say probably 30 pounds or so. It will travel along the hose. Now the front wheel is kind of U-shaped and will travel along the hose, so you can make it zigzag or twirly or whatever you want to do, and it will follow along on it. The rotary spray design of this is made for even coverage, and it will go out pretty far. We're going to look at it a little bit closer here when we open up the box. The tractor itself has basically 2 speeds. It has high and low and then a neutral position. It will go from 0 to 37 feet in an hour's time. So on our yard, it'll probably take about 2, maybe 3 hours to go the entire length of our yard. So it's going to do a pretty good job watering everything. The dimensions of the spray pattern can go anywhere from 15 feet all the way up to 55 feet. So it doesn't matter if you have a small yard or a big yard, this will do it really well. And you can do multiple passes, down one way and back the other if you need to. Our yard is approximately, I'd say maybe 60 foot wide, so probably one path will do the majority of the yard, and it's probably 150 foot long. Now, like I mentioned before, this does travel along the hose, and it does come with a little ramp that you attach to the hose wherever you want it to shut off. It has a little button on the bottom of the tractor and a little ramp, so when it goes over this ramp, that ramp will push the button and it will stop wherever you set it to. And being that it's going to be an automatic shut off and traveling wherever you go, it will pull up to 200 feet of hose. So that's quite a bit of distance that you can spray in one go. And it is self-propelled. It has gearboxes in the back and spike tires, so it will push it along and stop wherever you need it to stop. So first thing, when we open up the box, it has another box inside that has the tractor itself in it. And then it has the assembly instructions on the sprinkler itself. There is a little bit of assembly that you have to do, as well as a guide on which way to face the sprinkler heads to get the distance that you need and the speed that you need. Okay, so this is the tractor, and as I mentioned before, it has the spike tires, which digs into the ground basically to propel this thing forward. This is how it is able to move 200 foot of track without losing, or hose without losing traction. This is the gear select. You simply pull the top up and move it over to low or high, or in the center is medium. If we turn it over, this is the front wheel here is what I was talking about, how the hose travels on it. When it turns, it'll turn the tractor itself. And then the shut-off valve, whenever the tractor hits the ramp, it'll shut itself off. Alright, so this right here is all that this comes with. So we have a ramp that you lock onto the hose. When this runs over it, it shuts it off, and the sprinkler will shut off. You have the 2 sprinkler heads, which will shoot water out the end here, as well as a T-junction to hook these 2. Real easy to put together, real simple to use. So let's flip this over and we'll put it together. Okay, so you just simply hand tighten this. It doesn't say really whether you need to wrench it down or anything like that, but since it's plastic, I'm going to go with just hand tight, so that's good. So in order to put these things on, first off, take off your nut and insert the sprinkler rod into it. Pull it back, a little ways here. You're going to insert this into the T, and you'll feel a little like stop block in there. It'll be kind of hard to push in, and then it'll stop. So when you get that on there, you want to make sure that the left side is facing to the rear. The right side is going to be just the opposite. This way it moves forward. If you put this one facing this way and this one facing back, then the tractor's actually going to go backwards, so that you really don't want that. So push it in as far as you can until it stops, and then tighten down the nut. Again, just hand tightens, because it's plastic, you don't want to over tighten it, so just do it hand tight, like so. Now this will move in order to however far wide of a spray pattern you want. Alright, so we want to push this in as far as it will. It'll move a little bit, and then it'll stop, and it won't be able to move any further. Again, make sure that your sides are correctly facing. The one on the left needs to be facing back, the one on the right needs to be facing forward. Then simply tighten it down.
Mom, what's in mine? I lost it. That was saying that.
Alright. And that is pretty much it. That is the entire gist of putting this together and making it work. So once it's all assembled and you're ready to use it, the angle of these arms is what's going to determine the width of your watering. You want, for smaller areas, for like say down to 15 foot wide, you actually want to angle these down slightly. Now, I don't know how well you can tell it, but it's going to angle down slightly. Don't put it down too far where it's going to hit the tractor, but it is going to go down slightly, and that'll do about 15 foot wide area. For about 30 foot wide, you're going to put them even, where they're in level with each other. This is also good for windy conditions, so you don't spray it too far up, and it will make it where it's good even stretch, and shoot it out and it'll go down rather than up and then down. So for about 30 foot, keep them level. And then as you go wider, you're going to go up a little bit more. If you angle it up to about 30 degrees or so, it'll go about 45 foot, and then a little bit more to like 40 degrees, 45 degrees, it'll go out to a maximum of 55 foot. So that's how you adjust that. And then depending on the speed that you have it set for is depending on how much you're going to water. So as we're setting this up, you really need to think about when a good time to water is. Now you're watering, you want to do it either very early in the morning or later in the afternoon. Probably early in the morning is probably going to be your best bet. That way it can soak into the ground a little bit before it gets too hot. If you live somewhere where it's cooler, then you probably want to go towards late afternoon, maybe after supper time, depending on the time of year it is and how much sun you're going to have left over. So I think that's pretty much it. Let's take this out and I'll show you how to lay out the hose and set this up, and we'll get it kind of set up for our yard, and y'all can kind of go off of it and see how y'all can do it with yours. Okay, so after you got the hose all strung out the way that you want it at the end of it, you want to leave about 4 or 5, maybe 6 feet or so extra so it can turn around. Now on the connection side of the tractor does have a screen in there, so in case you have dirty water or trash or something like that, it will keep it from going into the tractor and messing up the inside of it.
And it's great if you have like well water.
Yeah.
So this hose is not a kink-free hose, so we just want to make sure that we have it straight when we pulled it out so it doesn't kink in that big loop.
So first time setting this up, I'm gonna go ahead and set it on high to see how long it takes to go this way. And we're going about 200 feet or so, so it's gonna be at least probably 3 hours. Right now it's 5 o'clock, so probably right around sundown is when this will get done. So I'm gonna set this on high. I'm gonna set these about even, maybe slightly up.
Do you need to push it down into the dirt, or does it just set on the ground?
It just sits on the ground, and the weight of it is what gets the traction for the trailer.
So
now,
that's what,
the other thing we have is the ramp. So the ramp, we're going to set it to where we want it to end at. So we're going to go, the hose goes all the way down to that end of the yard, turns around, and comes back, and then comes back to the reel. You have to start, of course, at the end of it. So let's go over towards the connection side, and we're going to put this on there.
First, I'm going to walk this.
When you're laying out your hose, you want to make sure that you don't have any sharp corners because it will go off the track.
These waters that we have, they're each 100 foot, but they have this ginormous connections to them. So we'll probably just have to watch it till it gets to this point and make sure that we help the tractor over it because the wheel is not wide enough to get there.
And right here at the end is where we had the issue that we'll talk about here in just a second.
All right, so once we get back to the faucet end of the water hose, we got to figure out where we're going to set this at. So I'm figuring that the range of this is probably going to be about 15, maybe 20 feet or so because of the way we had it set. So we have it going down this way, coming around and coming back. Should pretty well get the entire yard. We might have to adjust the hose a little bit.
So here is the tractor, and the hose goes way down to where you can see gauge just barely, and then it comes back, and it's probably how many feet off the fence? This like toward us.
About 16, maybe 20 feet, maybe.
So the hose comes back up here, and it's probably 20 feet off that fence line, and then it comes back here, and it's probably another good 20 feet, we'll say. So our hose kind of goes up. We have it on this hose reel up on the porch. So where are we going to stop this train at?
So you have to figure that if you're going to be shooting about 20 feet, maybe 30 foot wide, you don't want to get to your house or wherever your faucet is and just soaking your house on half the thing. So I figure probably go out about the width of half the width of your spray area. So I'm going back about 15 feet, maybe 10 feet or so from there, which works out really good because we have this incline on our hose. And then we're going to put this on there.
So right behind them, if you can see, is the tractor. So essentially you just make
a loop.
Not a loop, just an enormous rectangle in your yard.
Or you can do zigzags. You know, if we had enough, or we want to do another hose, we can zigzag around this way, and it'll follow it. That's the beauty of this. When you're setting this up, you have your two hoses on the ramp. So you need to put one side in. Do this when there's no water in here. Makes it a whole lot easier to get in there. And then on the bottom, there's a little spike that'll fold down. This will hold it in place and make it a whole lot easier to for this nut to move around. Of course, it's on the ground, so probably not going to happen. But we're going to put the spike in the ground anyways, just to hold it down. And then when the tractor rolls over this part, that little thing on the bottom that I showed you earlier will kick off. The sprinkler will shut off, and we'll be done. Okay, so here on the bottom, it ran over the button, and as you can see, it's all the way up now. To redo it, you simply turn off the water, and the button should automatically shut off once it loses pressure. And if it doesn't, see if I can hold my camera here. You simply reach down, pull it out, and you're ready to go. So it's been a couple days since we got our lawn tractor watering system put up. We've ran it a few times, and we had a slight issue. Whenever we would get to the very end, the very last turn, but every time we got to this point, the tractor would veer off of the hose. And
we determined that it's probably that it has too much hose on it. Yes, it says it's rated up to 200 feet of water hose, but it also says it's 5/8 inch hose, and I think the hose that we bought is a little bit too heavy for it, so it would tend to pull it back a little bit. Also, we had an issue, like we said earlier in the video, where the connections are. It doesn't go over that connection very well, so we've had to move it manually in that spot. So, if y'all get this, which I highly recommend, this thing is very nice. It makes it very easy to water. But if y'all do get it, get a light duty hose, so that it's lighter for the tractor to pull, and you can pull the full 200 feet. If you don't need 200 feet of hose, then you can get the medium duty, and it's fine. But you know, that's what we've discovered. So thank you very much for watching this. Let us know in the comments what you think about it. If you have one of these, let us know your experiences, some of the things that you've learned from it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Just click on the bottom right hand corner right down here, and click on the bell icon as well, so you don't miss any of our videos. We release a video on Tuesdays and Fridays, ranging from topical videos to videos like this, kids crafts like we did this a couple weeks ago for Mother's Day, recipes, all kinds of things. So please make sure that you do, so you don't miss any of our videos. And until next time, thank you for watching, and happy parenting.